Hello everyone, Chocolo Roberto here for another video review. Another one where I don't really need to bring it too close to the camera, but I will do anyway. So these are ASDA's giant pinwheel buttons. I stumbled across these the other day. I think I'd seen them before, and I sort of thought, well, you know, I think it's just a gimmick. But yeah, basically having read the blurb a bit, and then also that very same evening, having one of my followers on Twitter and subscribers on here, Luke Harrigan, mentioned them as well. I thought it must be destiny that I need to review these. Said they were quite an interesting combination, and I said, yeah, I was just thinking that myself really after having looked at them. So I thought, yeah, I'll do them. I've never had them before, so you know, why not? So yeah, so just for these, you might look at these and think, oh, it's just some kind of, you know, milk and white chocolate, you know, equivalent of a Cadbury's button really, in the pinwheel design. But on closer inspection, it's not quite so often. It's not quite so simple. It's basically, you know, rather than milk chocolate, it's more of a sort of toffee-looking colour. And the reason for that actually is because it's got a caramel surprise. Well, what it says on the front, it says temptingly sweet with a sticky caramel surprise. You know, so yeah, the gist of it is, you know, they've got like a caramel filling. So it says milk chocolate and white chocolate with caramel filling. So they're actually a bit more. There's a bit more to them than you'd think. Actually, it's not just too much of a gimmick. Now, as for those you don't know, a bit more. Well, basically, they're owned by Walmart, and so they're a bit of a. I wouldn't say a low. You know, they're not really. Well, basically, I reviewed M&S chocolates before, and they're Marks and Spencer's, and they're more of an upper market supermarket chain in the UK. And that's probably a bit more on the lower end. There's a few supermarkets in the UK. They're called the Big Four generally, and that's Tesco, ASDA, Sainsbury's, and Morrison's. And ASDA's probably on the cheaper end of those four supermarkets. You know, and that doesn't really mean anything, but the gist of it is you don't really go in there and find luxury goods, you know, is the gist of it, you know. But occasionally, you know, you know, you get the typical their own brand things, which are kind of cheaper versions of everything else. But these ones are kind of their own little take on something. It's quite, you know, unique to Asda as far as I know. So yeah, quite interesting. Okay, so yeah, let's. They also have a thing on. I mean, I don't know. I don't think anyone ever does this. This is why they do it. But they just say has a try me, love me guarantee on there. So basically it says that we'll refund you and replace. I don't quite know what that means. Then we'll refund and replace if you're not 100% happy. Phone us on this number. So if you don't like them, why you'd want them replacing, I don't know. But they'll refund you as well. So there you go. But yeah, so quite, you know, yeah, got nothing to lose. But I don't think anyone ever phones those numbers. I mean, they really do, but I think it's so minimal that that's why they do it. Okay, right, so let's have a look at the shenanigans on the back. It says no artificial colours, flavours or hydrogenated fats, or hydrogenated, however you want to pronounce it. So it says 7 servings, so bizarrely they give you the information per 100 grams and per 7th of a pack. Which makes sense in a way, but it makes it very difficult to really work out what a 7th is, as you can imagine. So the thing weighs 140 grams, so yeah, a 7th of that, so what's the 7th of that? I don't know, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 4. So that's basically 20 grams, so per 20 grams. So that's not bad actually. So rather than say, it should say per 20 grams. I think that would help. So just if it's per 20 grams, this is what it gives you. And 20 grams is probably about right. I don't know how much 20 grams is, but as I say, it's a 7th of a pack. So we'll work that out in a bit, perhaps, when we count how many's in there. Okay, so per 7th, 102 calories, 5.5 grams of fat, 3.4 of which are saturates. So not too bad. So even if you had 2 7ths, so that's 40 grams, you're still looking at 204 calories, 11 grams of fat, and 6.8 of which are saturates. So not bad that actually for 40 grams. That's not bad. Yeah, that's not bad actually. Okay, so there we go. So yeah, So there we go. So I mean, roughly most chocolate bars are between around 30 to 40 grams, really. So it's comparable. So it compares quite well actually to regular chocolate bars there. Okay, so quite a nice design on the front, pretty plain, but you know, you've got the pinwheels there. I think, you know, the M&S design was a bit bonkers. I think ASDA, unfortunately, because the brand is a bit of the lower end of what you would describe as perhaps a high-end, you know, it's not a high-end supermarket is the gist of it, so, you know, it perhaps does tarnish the brand on there. So if you're introducing these to your friends, you had them on the table, they'd see that and think, oh, you've not spent much money here, you know, it's like, unfortunately it has. Whereas if you introduce one that said M&S at the top, it was like, oh yes, these are obviously a quality product. So they are stigmatised a bit with that, but that's branding for you, unfortunately. It's the world we live in. So yes, that's well, again, there's a lot of trapped air in here, so it's a bit difficult. But the gist of it is, as is always the case, there's just a little pouch at the bottom. Same with M&S, really. The things there. But it weighs 140 grams, which is the same as the M&S ones as well. So you're not really getting any less because it's ASDA. Okay, so let's have a look. So the M&S ones had like a Velcro seal. ASDA's going to be probably more traditional and really probably just as good a way, if any, if they're doing one of those, like, you know, when you get those sealed, those bags, those plastic little bags you can seal, you kind of align it up and it snaps into place. It's a bit like one of those, really. So it does reseal. We'll see, not very well then. But they never do those things. So no, the M&S, but it does, if you persevere, you just have to be careful. Yeah, so it's sealed now. Yeah, maybe that's why the M&S one tried to be a bit more highbrow and do the Velcro. Anyway, let's tip them out. Okay, so there's quite a lot in there, you can see, not a bad amount. They're quite small though, so that's what you'd expect. Well, they're quite chunky things. You can see there's a big dome in the middle, obviously they have got caramel in, so they're quite good actually. I think you definitely get a good, like a giant, like Cadbury's do with some milk chocolate buttons, and they're quite smallish. And they do a giant buttons range, and these are giant button size, I'd say. So with a diameter of about 2.6 centimeters, so not bad, quite big there. Yeah, so let's try and do some kind of scientific way of working out the calories here. So moving them into groups of 10. I'm doing 10 because my plate's not big enough for groups of 5, I don't think. There's quite a lot in here. So it looks like we've got 10, 20, 30, 40, 44 in here. So we've got 44 buttons in there. So basically, God, making this complicated answer really. So just it is, yeah, 7th of these. So 44 divided by 7. So what on earth's that? 7, 4, 28, 35, 42. 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42. So it's about, it's actually, about 6 of them is roughly a 7th. 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42. Yeah, so as we said, there's 44, do we? 10, 20, 30, 40, 44. So if there was 42, a 6th of them would be, yeah, a 7th of them would be 6. So the gist of it is, per 6 of these, 6 of them, you know, roughly, this is of course, as I say, is 102 calories. So with that in mind, so there's probably around, what is that, 15, 30, 16, 90, about 17 to 18 calories per button, basically per pinwheel, something like that. So if you had, so the gist of it was, what did we say, there was 6 of them. So if you had 12 of them, 12 of these, you know, which is this much here, is basically your equivalent to a chocolate bar. Which doesn't look much when you look at it like that, does it really? But that's, calorie-wise and nutritional stuff, that's basically what that's the equivalent to having a Mars bar or something, roughly, you know. I haven't got the stats with me, the actual things, but there you go. So anyway, let's get on to eating these. I think let's cut one in half, shall we? Because I think we need to see the caramel centre. I think you can roughly see. Look underneath this one. You can see like a darker circle in the middle, and I think that's basically the caramel. You can just see that, like a darker shade. Can't really see it there, but okay. I'll try and cut it in half then. Let's see what happens. Okay. Right. So you can just see the caramel oozing out a bit there, can't you? What's a bit more of this side here? You can see it oozing out a bit. So it's quite sort of semi-runny caramel, not too runny, but it's quite nice looking. Yeah, but that's quite not bad. So it's quite a substantial amount in there, I'd say. There's enough in there, I think, for the size of them to give you a caramel treat. So yeah, you can see the difference. Sorry about that. You can see the on that side is the milk chocolate, and on that side the white chocolate, and the caramel in the middle. It's oozing a bit of the caramel actually. It's slowly dripping out very slowly. You can see that bit of chocolate's moved down a bit. So yeah, it's quite liquidy, but not overly so. So not bad actually. And the chocolate's quite thick as well. Yeah. And the chocolates, I'd say these are pretty good actually. Look at that thick, quite thick chocolate on the edges, on the side. So the signs are looking good. So let's give these a try then. I'll try a whole one. Quite a sweet, salty caramel there. Not unpleasant at all. Kind of odd because it went quite quick. You get a lot of caramel taste. It's definitely the predominant taste actually. So the caramel is not skimping on the caramel. You remember looking at it from before, thinking, oh, there's not much caramel in there. There's plenty in there. Yeah, I quite like these actually. They're quite nice. I mean, I won't say you get overwhelmed with chocolatey taste. It's just about right, really. The chocolate kind of supports the caramel taste, I'd say. It's not the predominant taste, but it gives you something to chew on as you get to the caramel, and then it's quite sweet. You know, it's not overly. It's not expensive chocolate. Let's put it that way. I mean, you're not tasting a massive creamy chocolate, you know, but it's kind of there as I say, to support the caramel, I'd say, and it does a good job. It's nice actually. I like it. I wouldn't say you particularly taste white, or you taste more white chocolate, I think, over than anything else, because I think it just comes across that way. Just because it's a bit of a stronger flavour generally, and it kind of you get that sort of, you know, the creamy, you know, kind of white chocolatey taste basically. So just that's the predominant taste, I think, of the chocolate. I mean I think the milk chocolate is a bit overshadowed by everything else. But no, I quite like these actually. I think they're really good. I think they're quite substantial. You know, they last a lot, quite a while in the mouth. I think you could be very much tempted to have two at once like that. I know I certainly would, and I'd match the. Match up reasonably well. Don't match up perfectly, but some of the things do match up, as you can see. So it's not bad. Yeah. It'll be quite a lot of fun that for the kids to do, and something I would definitely do. And I'll have a double one at once. Go on, why not? Wow, yeah. I'll tell you what. When you have two at once, you're basically getting into a segment of, say, chocolate bar territory there. They're that big and substantial. Yeah, I think these are very good actually. These are really nice. I think you probably get a bit sick after having. I think having this much or whatever, or maybe half that, is probably enough. I think they are quite sickly. Starting to get a bit of sickly taste now, but that's not a bad thing. That I think it restricts you on eating the whole packet. And I think you could quite easily eat the whole packet on many chocolates like these. I think this one, the substantial, moreish, but they can they control you wouldn't want to eat the whole packet, because you would have had enough. And I think that's good, actually. I think that's quite something that a lot of chocolate lacks. You could quite happily munch the whole chocolate bar or whatever, even no matter how big it is generally. But these ones, I think because of the caramel and things, they do kind of make you savour them a bit more and eat them a bit slower, and probably stop you eating the whole thing. So yeah, I think on many levels these are very nice, actually. I wouldn't say they're the best thing ever by any means, but I think they're substantially different than a lot of other things. I think Cadbury's do a sort of pack of these weird mix-up things where they do have like a little button filled with caramel, but I think these are bigger than those, and probably a bit different as well. Different enough, I think, to warrant making these relevant, and yeah, I think they're good, really. As I say, I think a good 3.5 to 4 out of 5. I think. I'm impressed with them. Yeah, I like them, and I could quite happily eat these many times over. But as I say, I think you'd have to take it easy and not eat the whole thing. I think they are quite sickly, and because they're so substantial and because there's a lot of caramel in there. But when I say quite sickly, I mean only after you've had a few of them. It's quite nice to double them up, have 2 at once. I think that's a lovely way to enjoy them, and you get quite a substantial chocolate by doing that as well, actually. Yeah, very nice, well recommended. Okay guys, hope you enjoyed that review. Yeah, let me know what you think. Let me know if you've had these. Follow me on Twitter and subscribe, and like my videos, all this, that and the other, or dislike them, you know what to do. But get in touch either way, and I'll see you next time. Okay, thanks for watching. Take care. Bye bye. See ya.